Good evening, folks, and welcome to John Muchner Court on the campus of Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. I'm Galen Clavio, along with Mike Petrie. We're here to bring you tonight's broadcast of Rose-Hulman Fighting Engineers women's basketball as they take on the Manchester Spartans. Our broadcast tonight is brought to you by Morales Group, building better futures, one story at a time. By Aspen Creek Grill, why go anywhere else for delicious food? By Bertner Electric, providing quality electrical services in central Indiana. By Boilermaker Local 374, second to none in quality and performance. By Clean Slate, inspired innovation that moves businesses forward. And by Piper Logistics, from warehousing to transportation and everything in between. And also brought to you by the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference. Well, Mike, as we come into this contest, these two teams have had their struggles, but they've also had some positive moments to look back on. Rose-Hulman picking up a couple of big wins on the road relatively recently. They knock off Defiance last Saturday. They knock off Earlham last week. They fell in a tough one against a really good Transylvania team ranked second in the country. But they come in with a little bit of momentum. And Rose-Hulman overall on the season, they haven't had a whole lot of success thus far on this court, but that could be changing tonight given that they're facing a team that struggled a lot on the road.
Yeah, this is a team that, quite honestly, Rose-Hulman has to feel confident going up against. And their play as of late has led to some confidence, and justifiably so, because not only did they play Transylvania very tough, they played Franklin very tough in a game that, quite honestly, was played at a different pace and just a different speed than every other HCAC game we've seen. So this is a team, and they were able to keep up with that. I think that as much as anything, should give them some confidence going forward. They've kind of gotten over some of the early season nervousness, I think, that they were battling through, and they're able to exploit what they do really well. And what they've got to do tonight, they've got to get off to a fast start. As a whole, Rose-Hulman's losing the first quarter on the season, combined by 19 points. But they lead the rest of their regulation by 34. So this is a team that's kind of gotten themselves into some holes. They've fought and fought and fought to get out of those holes, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. But against Manchester, they should be able to get off to a better start. Manchester losing the first and second quarters by more than 80 points on the season. So this is definitely a game where they can get out to a hot start and continue that. And then defensively, they've just got to contain Manchester's without fouling. Spartans, the one thing that Manchester does really well is get to the foul line. They're not great at converting there, but they do a good job getting you in foul trouble. So if the Fighting Engineers can avoid that, they're going to be in really good shape.
Just a reminder, folks, unleash the power of passion. IndianaSRN, always a front row seat. Contact us at sales@IndianaSRN.org to discuss how we can customize a sponsorship package that maximizes your brand and exposure. IndianaSRN, Central Indiana's sports leader. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, talk a little bit about Manchester, have the starting lineups and the opening tip of this game. Back right after this.
575 of them from 40 states and 19 countries, with a record-breaking number of applications. Did you forget about Rose's outstanding class of 2023 and how 99% of the graduates have landed a position in their dream fields, graduate school, or the military?
The renovations to Munch Hall are finally complete, so I'm sure he'll have plenty to eat at the updated Munch Cafe by the new Living Mall.
We just broke ground on a new residence hall that will be ready for fall 2025.
We celebrated a record-breaking homecoming with more than 2,000 alumni, students, and friends commemorating the 100th anniversary of the bonfire with our first ever drone show. We also welcomed 267 employers for our fall career fair. And perhaps the greatest gift of all, the Wall Street Journal named us to one of the top 20 best colleges in America, and U.S. News & World Report named us the #1 undergraduate engineering college. You can be a little old for a lot of things, but you're never too old or too far away for Rose-Hulman. 2023 was a year of adventurous journeys, of coming together, of growth. No matter how far away you roam this holiday season, You will never be truly alone as long as Rose is your home.
So my goal is to get involved in space industry and learn about what lies beyond the Earth's horizon. I came across Rose Rocketry. I saw, hey, they're doing some really cool stuff. They're building rockets. I really grew a lot being as part of the team. Last year, through Rose Rocketry, I was able to attend SED's Space Vision 2022, which was a student conference for people who want to get involved in space. And I was able to go to Washington, D.C. and talk to so many people within the space industry who come together and say, this is what the next goals for space are. Being at Rose, I was able to hone my engineering skills to push myself to get involved in the field further and learn about all these different opportunities. And I don't think I would have really gotten that at a bigger university.
So I started working on Babcock Ranch 16 years ago. We designed a sustainable community that is also storm resilient, and also it has a ton of flood control associated with it. It has 75 megawatt solar facilities on site, which will cover the entire 18,000 acre community. In September of 2022, we had Hurricane Ian. We had 150 mile per hour sustained winds for about 10 hours and 21 inches of rain. Babcock really had little to no damage at all. We were the only place in a 2-county area that had any electric or any available drinking water that did not need to be boiled. And Rose really prepares you to go out, think outside the box, and problem solve. And I think for any major at Rose-Hulman, that's what you're getting. You have the ability to go out and create something new and innovate and change the way that we live as humans today.
Welcome back to this broadcast of Rose-Hulman women's basketball. We're here at Holbert Arena, John Muchner Court. Rose-Hulman taking on Manchester, and we're about to have the starting lineups for these two teams. Starting for Manchester at one of the forward positions, number 1, Maddie Smith. At one of the guard positions, it's number 13, Kendall Ryder. Number 23, Haley Klein, going to be starting in the backcourt. Number 30, Madison Stam. And then number 32, Abigail Rosenkrantz, rounding out the starting lineup for the Spartans. For Rose-Hulman, the starters about to be introduced. You can see a little bit of a light show being thrown in here by the Rose-Hulman crew. Ashley Black going to be one of the starters for this Rose-Hulman squad today. Number 4, Emilia Diaz, also going to start, the freshman out of Fort Wayne. Also starting in the backcourt, number 5, Jamie Baum, the junior, probably the player with the most combined experience of anybody on this roster. Number 14, Grace Rowland, who has been starting a lot more here lately and is currently leading the team in scoring. And starting in the post, it'll be Manuela Shamba, number 23. So that rounds out the starting lineups for both teams. These two teams, as we mentioned, both coming in, having had some struggles. Rose-Hulman with a chance to get back to 500 if they can win today. 7-8 overall. They're 5-4 and still very much alive for the HCAC conference title. They've struggled here at home, but they're 6-2 on the road. And as we mentioned, coming off of a loss here at Holbert Arena against Transylvania this past weekend. For Manchester, they are 5-10 on the season, only 2-6 in HCAC conference play, only 1-6 on the road, but that one win just happened. They traveled to Earlham and they knock off Earlham 67-63 this past Saturday.
Yeah, I think you've got both teams really have something to build on from recent results. It's just a matter of, and they can kind of look at each other and say, okay, this is not, we're not playing the number 2 team in the nation. This is a chance we've got to get right. Rose-Hulman, it's the mix of, they've got 3 seniors, 2 freshmen in the lineup, and I think that says a lot about kind of where they are as a program.
Tip controlled by Rose-Hulman, and we're underway. Dish down to Shamba immediately, but she overshoots. And Manchester will have their first possession. Quickly down low, but blocked out of bounds. Grace Rowland having none of that whatsoever.
Yeah, Rowland was a little tardy getting down the court, but because she recovered perfectly, gets a great blocked shot there.
Spartans trying to get into their initial offensive set. Some pressure coming here from Diaz. And falling down and losing the basketball out of bounds is Madison Stamm. That'll be a turnover. And the ball will come back this direction with Rose-Hulman.
Good pressure defense. She was able to stay in front of her man and did not really need help. Fought over a screen.
Baum. Manchester throwing a bit of a zone out here. Shot by Black, unable to capitalize. Spartans coming back the other direction and looking to get into their offense. Here's a drive by Klein, and that one squirts through out of bounds, and another turnover for the Spartans.
Good scramble defense there by Baum. Was able to pin her player up against the baseline, really left her nowhere to go.
Not the most elegant of starts to the game, as both teams having trouble getting the ball in the hoop, but still early on, and Manchester back in this zone look. Not a bad move against this Rose-Hulman squad that has struggled to shoot consistently from outside on the season, but Shamba able to drive around it, and that's the other way you break a zone, Mike.
Yeah, you get into the middle of that, and you're able to do really whatever you want. Shamba with a great move.
And another turnover. It'll be the third turnover in a row, as it looked like Kendall Ryder just kind of lost the ball out of bounds there.
Yeah, Amelia Diaz poked it away for a minute, but I knocked it off of Ryder, and I think she just kind of deked her out because Diaz didn't make any effort to go after the ball. Ryder thought it was going off of her.
Shamba loses the basketball. Nice job dispossessing her there by Ryder, and the Spartans will come the other direction. Shot from 18, no good, and the rebound picked up by Rowland. The analytics crowd would not like that shot. Those long twos, they're not very efficient, Mike.
No, that's what gets you in trouble, but if you're going to take an outside shot, you want it to be a three.
Rowland unable to get that shot to go.
I like the way that Rose-Hulman's getting into the middle of this zone defense, though. That shot didn't go. It was a tough contested shot, but if they keep getting it to their post players, they're going to be successful more often than not.
The set shot three goes in. That's Haley Klein, the sophomore out of Blackhawk Christian. And Spartans have their first lead of the game.
And that's why if you have a chance, you take that as a three. Make sure you get that extra point.
Rowland spots up from 17. Can't get that to go.
That was a good look for her. She was a little deep, but a good look nonetheless.
Drive and score by Haley Klein, and a quick timeout going to be called by Rose-Hulman's head coach, Devin Paul. Probably not the start he was hoping for. We will have a media timeout, so we'll take one ourselves. 5-2, Manchester leads. Back here in a minute.
If there is one thing wrong in your aircraft, you're gonna fail. Finding the right answer and trying again, that's really what dragged me to aerospace. This is a 3D printed airplane which I made over my freshman year at Rose-Hulman that can be radio controlled and flown. I saw other people making amazing stuff on 3D printers, and I thought if I combine that art of 3D printing with engineering, I could make something as complex as an airplane. So I got the idea as a sophomore in high school, and I just tried. I did it. I failed a couple times, but it all changed when I came to Rose-Hulman. I got in touch with Dr. Riley, who is an aerospace and ME professor, who really asked me great questions about the concepts of my design. So pursuing such project as a freshman, it just lets me feel amazing that I have still 3 years to do something much more complex than this, and it will lead me much further.
Welcome back to Hulbert Arena, getting ready to start action once again. Just a reminder, folks, that our mission is to restore respect to game officials and recognize them as authorities on the fields and courts. This is officially human we're talking about. Thanks to our officials, without them, we don't play. Sportsmanship is everyone's job. Back to action. Rose-Hulman, a bit of a cold streak shooting, only 1 for 5 from the field. Baum can't change it, but the rebound picked up and now lost, and now a jump ball going to be called.
And I think that's what Coach Paul was talking about in the timeout. Some of the shots have come a little quick in the shot clock, a little bit quick in the offense. It negates one of the big advantages that Rose-Hulman has, which is if you take a shot kind of before your teammates are ready for you to, you give up chances at offensive rebounds, and that's where I think Rose-Hulman can do a lot of damage, even against a zone that's keeping them from getting good high percentage shots.
Another 3 drained by Klein as Manchester able to break that 1-2-2 zone press that Rose-Hulman had thrown up. 8-2 now. Baum trying to break the cold streak, and she does.
And that was another shot, probably a little quick, but it goes in, so all is well.
And part of the, I'm sure, disturbing aspects of that first segment for Coach Paul was just the lack of defensive intensity on a couple of plays. And I think what we're going to see as we watch this shot by Baum, a nice job, takes the pull up there from 16. I think you're going to see a lot more intensity here in this next stretch.
Absolutely.
Ryder looked like she was trying to go back door. Diaz took a spill. Shot taken, that's off the mark. And the nice job on the rebound there by Amelia Diaz, and she'll quickly come the other way. Dasha to Shamba. Shamba up, can't get the layup to go.
I like what Diaz on the defensive end talked about, that intensity. She gets knocked to the ground, rolls over, pops right up, and gets the rebound.
Close to a travel there on Madison Stam, but they don't call it. And now a wild shot taken, and that's off the mark from Ryder, and a foul going to be called.
Good job defensively by Rose-Hulman there. That was a shot. She got into the middle of the defense, but was definitely not on balance when she put the ball up towards the rim.
Subbing in now for Manchester. A couple of new faces in the game. Kinsey Atkins, the freshman out of Warsaw, Triton High School. And it's Sophia Reese into the game now for Rose-Hulman. Also in the game, Myra Randolph. Randolph almost loses it, drives into the paint, and now kicks it around. Shot clock down to 8. Rose-Hulman having trouble finding an opening, but they'll dish it down to Shamba. And back to a 2-point deficit now.
Nice job by Shamba, just making herself available. Didn't panic, and a good job by Ashley Black there, not panicking, got the ball to her.
Foul going to be whistled on Myra Randolph. That's the first foul on Rose-Hulman. Only 2 fouls called so far in this game. And that will bring Grace Rowland into the contest. Inbound triggered. Now stepping in, a little block. Oh, and a foul called on Reese, as they'll say that she, I guess, nicked Kendall Ryder on that shot. Looked somewhat clean from this angle.
I was going to say that from up here, that looked pretty clean. The whistle came, it was once the official realized that the ball had been blocked, he realized, oh, she must have gotten a little bit of the arm with that.
Stam sits down, and back on the floor is Haley Klein for Manchester, who up to this point has all of Manchester's points. She scored all 8. Now they've got 9, so she's no longer the only person in the scoring column. That first free throw dropped by Kendall Ryder. And gets the second one to fall. Engineers looking for an opening in this zone. They'll get it into Rowland. She easily maneuvers in and bounces that one home.
Yeah, you get the ball down to the post that easily against a zone defense, and she can go to work. One-on-one, I don't think Manchester is going to have a lot of success keeping her away from the basket.
Some good aggressive defense being played by Randolph. Now faking the three. Toss back. No, a travel going to be called. Another turnover. The fourth turnover on Manchester so far in this one.
Good job by Sophia Reese there. I think her rider thought she was going to get past Reese and did not. She pulled to a stop and realized Reese was right there in her grill.
Black, layup, good. Ashley Black ties this game up halfway through the first quarter.
I think this is one thing that Rose-Hulman's done a much better job of, especially as the season's gone on, that not making the game much too hard.
That was a nice feed from Klein. Got collapsed on the double team, but passes it across to Maddie Smith, and she's able to knock it home. Reese going to pull up from three. That's off the mark. Rebound, though, by Rose-Hulman.
Nice pass by Roland. She just went to the open area and said, here, somebody else can get that.
Very anticipatory pass. Shot clock winding down. Three rattles out. And loose ball, but picked up finally by Manchester. Cross court. There's Klein open. Put everything she had into that shot. Didn't quite get it all the way. Now barreling in. Now passed back out.
Very physical.
Yeah. Spartans playing very frenetic offensively, and it's somewhat working, but a good job by Rose-Hulman to pull the ball out on that.
Yeah, Reese, the smallest player on the court, able to get in among the trees and got the rebound and did not give it up, despite many protests from Manchester.
Ball knocked away, and now a foul going to be called as Roland fell on Kinsey Atkins.
And that foul will go against Roland, and I'm sure she's getting up saying, hey, I got as much contact on my back that led to me falling, but the officials see it otherwise.
Manchester leading in the rebounding department so far in this one, 9-5. You somewhat expect that given that Rose-Hulman hasn't shot the ball particularly well so far.
Right, and just not a lot of second chance opportunities. Again, as you've got to let your teammates get in position.
Three-pointer rattles out, and the rebound going to be pulled down by Sophia Reese. Neither team shooting particularly well. Rose-Hulman 38.5% from the field so far. Manchester 40% from the field. And a travel going to be called as Randolph pulled the pivot foot.
A little stutter step before she got going.
7 combined turnovers between these two teams so far through the first 6 minutes and 3 seconds of play.
A little bit ragged. I think effort has been good. It's just a matter of now you've got to focus in and again, try not to do too much.
And a foul going to be called, and they'll nail Randolph on that one as she trips Kinsey Atkins inadvertently, of course.
Randolph had a nice little rotation there. She came in initially for Roland, then they sub Roland back in real quickly and bring out Shamba, and then Ashley Black. So she was able to kind of cover 3 positions in that stint.
But 2 fouls on Randolph, so she will likely sit for a bit. Entry pass to Rosenkrantz. Can't get the shot to fall, and Shamba pulls down the board.
That was a sea of white around the basket on that missed shot.
Reese going to take the 3 from the side, and she'll knock it down. And Rose-Hulman back in the lead, 13-12.
And it was a good look by Diaz that set that up. Diaz came in, drew the defender from the wing, and was able to hit Reese.
Shot from the free throw line. That's knocked down by Abigail Rosenkrantz. And Spartans back up by 1, 14-13. Reese picks up her dribble. Now she'll cross-court it. Diaz up, good. Amelia Diaz. Her first points of the game, and back to a 1-point lead now for the Fighting Engineers. Long 3, no. Rebound, no. Another rebound. That's not going to fall, but a foul going to be called.
Well, and I think that Coach Paul's going to have a problem. That first rebound, that was sort of just bad luck. It had essentially cleared out, and a Manchester player, the first one to get there. That second rebound, though, I think he's going to be a little saltier about.
Free throw up and does not go home. Maddie Smith missing that one. And you can see that kick out on the three to Reese. Really nice shooting stroke as she's able to knock that in right where the corner begins, basically. And that's an underutilized space, I think, that we've seen with Rose-Hulman, at least for part of this season. It's good to see them taking advantage of that more.
And what I really liked, it's the backcourt, because it just reversed the order. It was Reese to Diaz on the last shot.
Shot by Shamba, gets it to go. 17-15. Rose-Hulman leads by 2. Manchester likely holding for the final shot. Kick out, 3 on its way off the mark. And now Rose-Hulman has a chance to do something if they hurry. Here's Reese. She'll try one from half court. Just off.
Ooh, she was on target.
On target, just about a foot shorter than it needed to be. So a pretty good first quarter for Rose-Hulman. They lead 17-15 over Manchester. We'll take a break and come back with the second quarter here on RHIT.TV. Welcome back to Holbert Arena, 17-15. Rose-Hulman leading Manchester. Folks, just a reminder, Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe offers traditional food just like Grandma used to make. A great staff and even better food. Check out Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe Wednesday through Sunday. Call ahead for seating, 317-760-1640. Well, Mike, your reflections on that first quarter of play.
Well, I think Rose-Hulman has to feel really good being up by 2. They start the quarter going down 8-2, get a quick timeout, and since that point, that's a 15-7 run. They've battled themselves back. We talked about how they kind of dig themselves a hole at the end of the first quarters. So now they're up by 2. You've got to feel pretty good going through the rest of the game.
Whistle. And I'm not sure for what.
I think that's is that Roland with a moving? She's the one that's reacting, but
there's some discussion. There was a whistle that was blown by the dark-haired official on the baseline, and it seemed almost to be a reaction to something in the crowd, perhaps, as we've had a conference, and now I think we're going to have some kind of an announcement made. We're as in the dark as you are on this, folks. And conversation still being had.
And you see coaches trying to get points across.
So perhaps what occurred was the clock didn't start. Our intrepid producer, Ben, talking in our ears, and they took 2 seconds off the clock. So perhaps it was just a clock issue, not something more serious or something that involved a foul, Mike.
Yeah, and fortunate to see that.
Shot by Baum, can't get it to rattle home, and the rebound going to be pulled in by Smith.
Good job defensively by Manchester on that. And again, a sea of black under the basket. That's obviously been a focus on their part.
Some nice maneuvering down there by Abigail Rosenkrantz as she gets around Grace Rowland's outstretched arms and ties this up at 17.
Yeah, I think that initial block shot that Rowland had probably was sticking in her head. She kept trying to move away, and then finally just had to go up with it.
Shamba able to drive in and lay that in, and a nice job. Rose-Hulman takes the lead once again. Shamba now with 6 points on the night.
It was the mid-range jumper that opened that up for Shamba because they had to respect her ability to make that shot.
Wild layup by Jayanna Blakely as she's able to bank that high off the glass. So a bit less of a pure zone look here, although they keep reverting back to it. It's kind of an amoeba defense by Manchester. Nothing amorphous about that shot attempt, though, as Rowland drains a three.
No, that's that's the definite way to get a team to come out completely out of a zone, is if you can start hitting threes.
And Blakely going to be tripped in the lane. That will be a foul. See the three-pointer there by Rowland just squares up straight away. Came into the game 38% from three as far as the rate of shots taken. I mean, she's one of the best three-point shooters on this team so far this season.
Yeah, I would say anybody on this team that's up over 35% just need to shoot more. It's your percentage will come down, but you're going to make enough three-pointers in that that it'll be worthwhile. And again, you get three for it, so.
Yeah, Rowland is probably the most efficient scorer on this Rose-Hulman team, as there have been some shooting issues throughout the course of the season, but not with Grace Rowland. 48% from the field, 38% from three. Shamba going to kick this out. Randolph for three. Can't get that to rattle home, and rebound picked up by Smith.
And what that lets you do is you play two posts defensively with Shamba and Rowland, because she's such a threat to make shots from the outside. You're not giving up anything on that side.
Player stepped on the sideline, so another turnover from Manchester. That's their fifth on the night. Shamba leading all scorers on the Rose-Hulman side with 8, and she's tied for the lead in scoring overall. And there's a turnover as that ball's lost out of bounds.
Yeah, just a little miscommunication on the far sideline there.
So Blakely, who's played pretty well since she came in, went to Marquette Catholic High School. Now feed into the post. Double team and a travel. You could kind of pick whatever you wanted there, Mike. Travel, 3-second violation. There were some issues down low there. It's a really nice defense by Rose-Hulman creating problems.
Yeah, and I like what Rose-Hulman did. It's almost like they invited that pass down to the post, and then everybody collapsed.
It's dropping the anvil. Rose-Hulman looking to extend their lead. Here's Baum penetrating layup. Oh, can't get it to fall. And now saved from going out of bounds. Nice play by Smith. Almost a travel there. And that ball's thrown out of bounds. That's 7 turnovers now on Manchester.
That's a corollary of the ball don't lie. It just kept floating. It knew there was a travel beforehand. She slid with her feet.
Jamie Baum, junior out of Los Altos, California. Moving right. Now kick it across. Rowland fakes the three. Will barrel down the lane. And look like she lost it going up, but it bounces off of a Manchester hand, and it'll remain Rose-Hulman basketball.
Yeah, everything about that drive was perfect until she got up to where she was going to go for a layup. Just had the ball stripped from her, and fortunate goes off a Manchester player.
Rowland gets the inbound, and now Baum going to try to set the offense. Black trying to dump it inside. Now she'll take it. Gets it to Rowland. Rowland working and has that ball knocked out of her hands and was very frustrated at the lack of a call.
Yeah, I side with her because she takes a lot of contact, really even on possessions going away from her, but that was actually a pretty clean block, and then a nice three on the other side.
Madison Stam gets on the scoring column. And back to a lead for Manchester, but Grace Rowland can't get that to go. Gets the rebound back, can't get that to fall, and the rebound pulled down by Rosencrantz.
That was a good look, and Fighting Engineers showing they can score in a lot of different ways.
Kick in the corner. And a reset on the offense now by Manchester as the shot clock gets to 10. Drive by Rosencrantz. Gonna run out of time, and it's stolen by Randolph, and she'll motor down the floor and lays it up and gets it to go.
Great job by Randolph. Taking advantage of, I think, a Manchester squad that was getting a little panic towards the end of that shot clock and able to get out in front of everybody.
And a foul going to be called down low. I think they're going to nail Rowland for this. So looking at this steal, you can see just a nice job, active hands by Randolph, and gets herself into the right position to lay it up with her dominant hand. Always an important thing.
Absolutely, and able to slow herself down. That's the real trick. You get out in front of everybody, and you got to keep yourself from rushing that layup.
There's Klein, who's been quiet since that opening flurry, loses the basketball. In the other direction, here comes Rose-Hulman. Black, spot up shot, baseline no, but the nice rebound there by Sophia Reese. Tried to feed Shamba, and now a big pile up down low, and a jump ball going to be called.
That was 100% caused by the effort from Shamba, because she had the ball stripped from her and was able to get to the floor though and make it a contested play.
Media timeout, all tied up at 24. Back here in a minute on RHIT.TV.
So my goal is to get involved in space industry and learn about what lies beyond the Earth's horizon. I came across Rose Rocketry. I saw, hey, they're doing some really cool stuff. They're building rockets. I really grew a lot being as part of the team. Last year, through Rose Rocketry, I was able to attend SED's Space Vision 2022, which was a student conference for people who want to get involved in space. And I was able to go to Washington, D.C. and talk to so many people within the space industry who come together and say, this is what the next goals for space are. Being at Rose, I was able to hone my engineering skills to push myself to get involved in the field further and learn about all these different opportunities. And I don't think I would have really gotten that at a bigger university.
Welcome back to RHIT.TV's broadcast coverage of Rose-Hulman women's basketball. Just a reminder, folks, for 125 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community, providing help, hope, and healing to people in need. Volunteer with Wheeler Mission today. Call 317-686-6239. All tied up at 24, Mike, as we are about halfway through this second quarter of play. Both teams with some positives to take out of this so far.
Yeah, I think, again, effort has been good. It'll be an interesting stretch here. You've got 4:36 left in the half, and I'm sure Coach Paul would really like it if he can get to halftime, if he doesn't have to put Rowland back in. She's got the 2 fouls. Don't want to risk a third one, but she had been the centerpiece of the offense here the last few minutes.
Turnover on Haley Klein. Tried to do a little too much on that penetration and just a difficult pass, hard to get a handle on. So yet another turnover against Manchester, and Rose-Hulman looks to capitalize.
I think Fighting Engineers doing a good job just taking easy passes away. They're staying in front of their man.
Ashley Black, 6 points now on the evening, and has managed to contribute in both quarters now in terms of scoring. 2-point lead now for Rose-Hulman. Driving layup, no. Vanderweel, rebound, no. And a nice job pulling that rebound out by Sophia Reese.
Reese has done a great job of defensive rebounding.
Tried to feed that to Shamba, no, but Diaz able to pick it up. Now Baum back to Reese, thought about the shot, but no. Here's Shamba, had that knocked out of her hands, and it will remain Rose-Hulman basketball.
The one problem Shamba had there was that she brought the ball back down to her midsection. That gave Manchester a chance to knock it away, to strip the ball away. If she keeps the ball up high, she can probably go straight to the basket.
Ball knocked out of Reese's hands, but she gets it back. Now Baum gonna throw it up from distance and can't get the rattle to go. Rose-Hulman occasionally running some aggressive defense at ball handlers. We've seen that now a couple of times.
Yeah, especially when Reese and Diaz are in the game. They seem to like to play pressure up front. It's not no coordinated traps or anything, but just make life a little bit more challenging on the ball handlers. And it's yielded some results.
Fed down to Shamba, can't get the shot to go. Pretty physical down low there, no call.
Yeah, Shamba just ended up getting a little too far under the basket. And Manchester did a good job walling that off.
Tough pass, but nicely picked up by Klein. Now she'll dribble it back out again. Gets it to Rosenkrantz, able to knock that home. 6 points for Abigail Rosenkrantz. And back to a tie game. Black, Diaz, now Reese penetrates. Shamba fouled.
Like the offensive sets that Rose-Hulman has had when the game is tied or when they've been behind by 2 have been exceptional. What they haven't been able to do is string enough of them together. It's the sets that they've run when they're up by 2 are kind of preventing them from stretching this lead out.
Now Baum off the inbounds, back to Reese, drives all the way in, acrobatic layup, gets it to go.
That was a tremendous ball fake. Got the entire defense shifting away.
Sophia Reese with 5, back to a 2-point lead for Rose-Hulman. Another tough pass, but Manchester able to pick it up. Now the spot up 3 by Stam, no. Rebound pulled out of there by Maddie Smith, and she'll go back to Stam. Reese guarding, now kicked out, 3 on the way, no. And the rebound pulled out by Diaz. Almost lost it out of bounds. A timeout going to be called by Rose-Hulman. Folks, Boilermakers Local 374 represents highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication throughout the state of Indiana. Start your career with Boilermakers Union Local 374. Call them at 219-845-1000. Statistical reset. Manchester started pretty hot shooting the ball from the field, and they've really fallen off a cliff. Only 9 of 26 so far from the field, 34.6% shooting. What's kept them alive is they've hit 3 threes, and they've gone 5 for 6 from the free throw line, whereas Rose-Hulman hasn't made a trip to the free throw line as of yet.
Right. The free throw discrepancy, I'm sure, is something that Coach Paul in the ear of the officials about, but also it's a matter, they are doing a good job just being aggressive going to the basket. They're also doing a good job on second chance opportunities. They've got 6 offensive rebounds to Rose-Hulman's 4. That's a stat that had been working in the Fighting Engineers' favor all season long. Manchester has not been a particularly good rebounding team, but they've done a much better job of that tonight.
Yeah, 19 rebounds to 15. The turnover's really been the big problem for Manchester so far, 9 on the game. And Rose-Hulman's done a really nice job of keeping control of the basketball. Shot by Ashley Black, knocks down the corner 3. And the largest lead of the game so far for Rose-Hulman, 31-26.
One thing Rose-Hulman's done a good job of is sort of forcing unforced errors by Manchester. It's a consistent pressure, and we see the 3 here. A great look for Ashley Black out of the corner, and You mentioned that the corners are becoming favorite spots for the Fighting Engineers.
It's a slightly shorter three than anywhere else on the floor, which is important because the closer you are to the basket, you generally have a better chance of making the shot. Shot missed there. Fighting Engineers with a chance to build on this lead with a minute to play in the first half. Here is another three on its way, and good by Ashley Black.
Well, she didn't worry one bit about whether it was close or not. That was a deep, deep three from Ashley Black.
Black leading all scorers. She's got 12, and it's an 8-point lead now for the Fighting Engineers. Kickoff to Rosenkrantz. Tries to get into the lane. Little runner gets it to go. Nice shot.
She's shown a pretty good offensive skill set.
Shot clock and game clock are essentially even. So Rose-Hulman will likely hold for the last shot, although I said that at the end of the first quarter and was wrong. Black dribbling left. Reese checks the clock, now off to Baum. 8 seconds. Rowland wide open, can't get the shot to go. Rebound pulled down, 2 seconds left. One, half court, on the way, and off the mark. Well, a good finish to that half for Rose-Hulman. They really put it together offensively, hit a couple of outside shots, pulled down some rebounds, and they are rewarded with a 6-point lead at halftime.
Yeah, I think defensively they're doing enough. It's a consistent level of pressure against this Manchester squad, and I think you feel good about that. And offensively, we were able to see it even early on in the season, this Rose-Hulman team, that if they could start hitting some of these outside shots, it opens up so much of their offense. And the rest of their offense I thought was functioning well early on in the year. It's the outside shots that have now started to come along, and when you hit 4 out of 12, that's a good sign.
Yeah. Rose-Hulman leading by 6. We'll be back. We have a halftime guest to join us here in a little bit, so be sure to stay tuned. We'll have some halftime statistical breakdowns as well a little bit later. Again, the score, 34-28. Rose-Hulman leading Manchester. For Mike Petrie, I'm Galen Clavio. Stick with us here on RHIT.TV.
So I started working on Babcock Ranch 16 years ago. We designed a sustainable community that is also storm resilient, and also it has a ton of flood control associated with it. It has 75 megawatt solar facilities on site, which will cover the entire 18,000 acre community. In September of 2022, we had Hurricane Ian. We had 150 miles an hour sustained winds for about 10 hours and 21 inches of rain. Babcock really had little to no damage at all. We were the only place in a 2-county area that had any electric or any available drinking water that did not need to be boiled. And Rose really prepares you to go out, think outside the box, and problem solve. And I think for any major at Rose-Hulman, that's what you're getting. You have the ability to go out and create something new and innovate and change the way that we live as humans today.
Welcome back to Hulbert Arena. Galen Clavio here, and I'm delighted to be joined by our halftime guest, Lauren Meyer, member of the Rose-Hulman swim team. Lauren, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you.
So we're in season right now for swimming and diving. Tell us a little bit about how the season's going so far.
So in my experience, because I'm a senior, so it's my 4th year, I would say comparatively to past 3, this is probably the strongest our top girls have looked in a while, because our relay times are looking like second best in conference rather than third, so it's really exciting. And we've already had a couple people break school records just at our midseason meet, so that's really exciting going into conference 4 weeks from now.
As you mentioned, you're a senior. You've been here for 4 years. So how does that mentality shift work for you? You go from being a member of the squad to someone who is looked upon in a leadership role to some degree. How do you embrace that, and what kinds of things do you try to do to make sure that the squad is ready for the meets that they have coming up?
A couple things I would say is I struggled a lot my sophomore year and early on, so some of the sophomores now or juniors even that I see you're starting to feel that burnout and everything being a college athlete, just talking to them and giving them tips that helped me, and just if you need to take a step back for a couple days is like do what you need to do for your mental health and well-being. So I know that definitely helps, and a lot of girls I know do tend to come talk to me because being an RA on the team too, they tend to like expect that I know that leadership role and can help out.
You mentioned the RA aspect of things, so you are very active in campus life outside of being on the swimming team. So what's that experience like as a residence assistant and just kind of understanding how the campus culture works?
I love it because it lets me, in high school it was very much like school and swim and like that's all I had time to do, and like here I've done RA and residence life, so getting to connect with residents who don't do sports and like knowing their interests on campus, and going to other sporting events with them. And then also I'm also a part of Greek life, so getting to experience that as well. And a lot of like my team members have joined Greek life as well because I've seen it expand on the women's team too. Same with res life in swimming. I think a lot of people looked at it as like you can't do both with the sport, but as long as you manage your time well, which I've somehow found to do, it's definitely doable. So I try to make sure that like people don't look at it as like you have to choose one or the other.
Last thing I'll ask you about, today is National Girls and Women in Sport Day. That's obviously awesome. We've seen this groundswell of interest in women's sports in particular at the college level over the course of the last few years. What has it been like for you, not just observing that, but being a part of it?
I would say, for one, our team has grown since my freshman year. Freshman year, we were like 8 people total with divers. Like it very much showed, like we still show the ratio of the school here, but it's larger. We have like 15 or 16 now. So I love the growing interest. It's nice. Like everyone is still like a close-knit community, and you always have people to hang out with for sure. And I think it helps everyone's well-being on campus with it being a really tough STEM school. So I'm glad that everyone has been enjoying it over the years and but my experience has been really great with it because I've just noticed people like come and ask me about it, and then like they're not afraid to join a team, whether it's swimming or whatever sport they're into.
Do you have any graduation or post-graduation plans at this point?
Currently I plan to go into industry, so I'm still I'm a biomed, so it tends to be a little later in the year, so I'm still waiting to hear on a couple things. But I think eventually, further down the line, I will probably go back to school, to at least grad school, potentially PhD. I'm not totally sure yet.
Well, having done that myself, if you ever want to chat about that, I'm happy to give you some advice there.
Great.
Lauren Meyer, thanks so much for taking the time to join us on the broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back right after this with some statistics from the first half here on RHIT.TV.
If there is one thing wrong in your aircraft, you're gonna fail. Finding the right answer and trying again, that's really what dragged me to aerospace. This is a 3D printed airplane which I made over my freshman year at Rose-Hulman that can be radio controlled and flown. I saw other people making amazing stuff on 3D printers, and I thought if I combine that art of 3D printing with engineering, I could make something as complex as an airplane. So I got the idea as a sophomore in high school, and I just tried. I did it. I failed a couple times, but it all changed when I came to Rose-Hulman. I got in touch with Dr. Riley, who is an aerospace and ME professor, who really asked me great questions about the concepts of my design. So pursuing such project as a freshman, it just lets me feel amazing that I have still 3 years to do something much more complex than this, and it will lead me much further.
So my goal is to get involved in space industry and learn about what lies beyond the Earth's horizon. I came across Rose Rocketry. I saw, hey, they're doing some really cool stuff. They're building rockets. I really grew a lot being as part of the team. Last year, through Rose Rocketry, I was able to attend SED's Space Vision 2022, which was a student conference for people who want to get involved in space. And I was able to go to Washington, D.C. and talk to so many people within the space industry who come together and say, this is what the next goals for space are. Being at Rose, I was able to hone my engineering skills to push myself to get involved in the field further and learn about all these different opportunities. And I don't think I would have really gotten that at a bigger university.
575 of them from 40 states and 19 countries, with a record-breaking number of applications. Did you forget about Rose's outstanding class of 2023 and how 99% of the graduates have landed a position in their dream fields, graduate school, or the military?
The renovations to Munch Hall are finally complete, so I'm sure he'll have plenty to eat at the updated Munch Cafe by the new living mall.
We just broke ground on a new residence hall that will be ready for fall 2025.
We celebrated a record-breaking homecoming with more than 2,000 alumni, students, and friends commemorating the 100th anniversary of the bonfire with our first ever drone show. We also welcomed 267 employers for our fall career fair. And perhaps the greatest gift of all, the Wall Street Journal named us to one of the top 20 best colleges in America, and U.S. News & World Report named us the #1 undergraduate engineering college. You can be a little old for a lot of things, but you're never too old or too far away for Rose-Hulman. 2023 was a year of adventurous journeys, of coming together, of growth. No matter how far away you roam this holiday season, you will never be truly alone as long as Rose is your home.
Welcome back to Hulbert Arena. Galen Clavio, Mike Petrie joining you on RHIT.TV. The Rose-Hulman Fighting Engineers leading the Manchester Spartans 34-28. Mike, we look at the stats from that first half, and what sticks out is Ashley Black hitting those shots at the end of the half, 2 threes back-to-back, 12 points. She leads all scorers, and that's really the entire margin of the lead right now for Rose-Hulman.
Yeah, those 2 threes. And what that's going to do for the rest of the offense, you know, there's a kind of a knock-on effect that you get from being able to hit from outside, because the more you can spread out opponents, they've got such a good post game. That's going to open things up down low for Shamba and for Roland especially. And I think they felt good. They got Roland back in the game towards the end of the half, and obviously not picking up that third foul was very big for Rose-Hulman. You feel good with where the game is, both from obviously you're up 6, but also just from the pace of play. With the way that Rose-Hulman's gone this year, if they've held opponents under 60 points, they are 5-1 on the year. They feel good at the rate and the pace of play that they're going at. So kind of go at it the same way.
Additionally, from a scoring perspective, outside of Black's 12 points, Manuela Shamba with 8 points for Rose-Hulman. Sophia Reese leading the team in rebounds with 5, also leading them in assists with 4. She has really been all over the place, has 5 points of her own as well. For Manchester, early on in this contest, it was Haley Klein, the sophomore out of Huntington, as she scored 8 points, all of those coming in the first quarter. Then she kind of got silent after a while scoring-wise, and it's been Abigail Rosencrantz filling in the gaps. She's got 8 points as well. You look down the score sheet, Maddie Smith with 7 rebounds and 3 steals has really played very well down low. It's kind of neutralized Grace Rowland to some degree. Rowland's had a really hard time scoring, only 1 for 6 for Rose-Hulman, but her teammates have really helped to pick up the slack.
Absolutely. Shamba in particular. And again, Shamba got the mid-range game going, and that opened things up because you had defenders that they gave her the one shot on the baseline, and then she proved she can make that. Well, they're not going to give that to you anymore, but they came out on a closeout, and she was able to drive around. One thing to watch out for, Amelia Diaz, towards the end of the first half, looked like she sort of just skidded to a stop right in front of the Rose-Hulman bench. We see her with some additional attention there as hopefully she can get back and ready to go. The backcourt of Reese and Diaz was really dynamic, working off of each other for a bit in that first half.
We'll take a break and come back with the start of the second half here on RHIT.TV. Stick with us.
An active athlete looking for enhanced performance, comfort, and recovery? Then Skins is the perfect choice for you. Our revolutionary sports compression product provides better oxygen flow in your muscles, helps reduce fatigue and pain from intense physical activity, allowing athletes to push their boundaries and perform better.
Skins helps keep everything, including you, on track.
So don't wait any longer. Get your Skins now and experience unbeatable performance.
Take your game to the next level with Skins.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Welcome back to Holbert Arena. About a minute until we get this second half underway. Just a reminder, folks, that you can unleash the power of passion with IndianaSRN. With IndianaSRN, you always have a front row seat. Contact us at sales@indianasrn.org to discuss how we can customize a sponsorship package that maximizes your brand and exposure. IndianaSRN, Central Indiana sports leader. Also a reminder that this is a broadcast brought to you in part by the Morales Group. The Morales Group's mission is building better futures, one story at a time, acknowledging the whole person and their individual story. Give the Morales Group a call at 317-472-7600. Well, Mike, we talked about it at the beginning. The plan was to jump on Manchester early if you're Rose-Hulman. That didn't happen, but they jumped on them later.
Right.
And at this point, given how Rose-Hulman has tended to play in the second halves of games, you have to like where they're positioned at this point, but clearly they're going to have to start hitting shots more consistently in the paint. They're not going to be able to rely entirely on the three.
No, and I think a lot of it is it'll be interesting to see what Manchester does defensively if they just start pressuring the ball more on the perimeter. They were content to let Rose-Hulman take three-point shots pretty much at will, and you could understand why. The Fighting Engineers, I think, started off 2 of 10, but Ashley Black hits those last two. Makes the stat line look an awful lot prettier from a team standpoint.
Diaz is on the floor alongside Reese, Baum, Black, and Shamba as we'll get underway here in this second half. We switch sides. And it'll be Diaz in the corner. Going to drive in. Kicks it out to Reese. Reese takes it in herself. Little floater. Can't get that baseline shot to fall. And a rebound pulled down by Maddie Smith.
Decent look for Reese, though. She got to the baseline, was able to get a clean look.
Nice steal there by Reese, and a foul going to be called as they nail Madison Stam, the senior out of Fortville. Definitely lost the ball and then held Sophia Reese to make sure she couldn't do anything with it.
And then fell down on top of her to make sure she really couldn't go forward.
So Rose-Hulman looking to build on this lead. Diaz drives in. Now Reese in the middle of the zone over to Shamba. That was a lot of contact, no call. It'll stay Rose-Hulman basketball. Rose-Hulman with 16 points in the paint so far in this game, only 8 for Manchester.
And that was an advantage that you expected them to take advantage of, and quite honestly, to take more of an advantage than they have been so far.
A little more aggressive defense to start this second half for Manchester as they're getting into passing lanes. Now Diaz tries to get it down to Shamba, working against that zone and has the ball knocked out of her hands.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a hybrid defense. You're getting more pressure on the perimeter.
Missed three-pointer by Stam, and now Manchester 1 for 10 from beyond the arc here over the course of their last 10 shots.
And that has a lot to do with what Rose-Hulman's doing defensively. They're getting hand in the face, contesting a lot of these long-distance attempts.
Now the lob into Black. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Gets it to roll in. Ashley Black having a great game offensively. She's got 14.
Nice spin there as the English was kind.
Very forgiving rims here at Holbert Arena. There's Klein. Now off to Smith, and she'll hand the ball off to Rosenkrantz. Now lobbed in. And out of bounds as Maddie Smith wasn't paying too close attention to the baseline and just stepped on the line.
No, good defense, though, by Shamba. She again, walled off and sort of forced Smith under the basket. Smith had no shot. She kept positioning herself and just unable to do anything.
Whistle. And I think a kick ball perhaps there. So almost a 1-2-2 zone being played here by Manchester. It is causing some problems, but not for Ashley Black. Knocks in another shot.
No.
16 points now in the game.
And I think the person that's going to benefit from this, from games like this, as much as anybody long term is Jamie Baum, who, second leading scorer on the team, but early on in the year felt like all of the offense that she got, she had to create for herself. And you're starting to see the rest of the offense is filling out, and she can still create shots for herself. So, if they need to, they can still go back to that, but it's good to, again, have a lot of different options.
Media timeout. We'll take one ourselves. 38-28, Fighting Engineers lead. Back after this.
575 of them from 40 states and 19 countries, with a record-breaking number of applications. Did you forget about Rose's outstanding class of 2023 and how 99% of the graduates have landed a position in their dream fields, graduate school, or the military?
The renovations to Munch Hall are finally complete, so I'm sure he'll have plenty to eat at the updated Munch Cafe by the new Living Mall.
We just broke ground on a new residence hall that will be ready for fall 2025.
We celebrated a record-breaking homecoming with more than 2,000 alumni, students, and friends commemorating the 100th anniversary of the bonfire with our first ever drone show. We also welcomed 267 employers for our fall career fair. And perhaps the greatest gift of all, the Wall Street Journal named us to one of the top 20 best colleges in America, and U.S. News & World Report named us the #1 undergraduate engineering college. You can be a little old for a lot of things, but you're never too old or too far away for Rose-Hulman. 2023 was a year of adventurous journeys, of coming together, of growth. No matter how far away you roam this holiday season, you will never be truly alone as long as Rose is your home.
Welcome back to Hulbert Arena. 38-28, Rose-Hulman leading Manchester. Just a reminder, folks, Piper Logistics is a proud co-sponsor of this broadcast. Piper Warehouse, a group of logistics professionals dedicated to working together to provide clients with complete logistics solutions in Indianapolis and in Cincinnati. Roll with Piper Logistics. Call today, 317-396-1023. Inbound coming from Sophia Reese. Rose-Hulman on a 12-2 run as Manchester's yet to hit a field goal in this half. Stolen there, however, and Manchester will have a chance to score.
Where I think Rose-Hulman has to feel really good is they've been this as efficient offensively as they've been without going to the free throw line.
Klein finally gets back into the scoring column and picks up her 10th point on a nice driving layup.
Yeah, a good cut to the lane and had Reese on her back, and Sophia Reese really just unable to bother that shot from behind.
Now Black, who's had the hot hand, driving, but Sophia Reese got knocked down, and that'll be a foul on Manchester.
That was a solid job of acting by Reese because she got knocked back initially, but then bodied up, and it was the forearm that knocked her down, but she sold that pretty well.
Shamba sits down. There's a steal on the inbound, and driving in and getting it blocked. That was Kendall Ryder, but that was Jamie Baum on the block. Really nice hustle by Baum to recover. Now Rowland back into the contest, off to Reese for three.
No, that was on target. Again, that looked good the whole way and just came up short.
Spartans off a screen. There's Klein, now dumps it down low. That shot partially blocked by Rowland, and now falling to the ground is Rosenkrantz. Picked up, no, and knocked away from Maddie Smith. Here come the Fighting Engineers. Cross court to Reese. Reese looking for a pocket in the zone. Now back off to Rowland. Baum driving, gets it to go, and the foul.
Well, as I was talking about, she can still create her own offense when necessary, and she gets to go to the free throw line. Foreign territory for the Fighting Engineers tonight.
Jamie Baum picks up her 4th point. You can see on this drive just a nice job of fighting through that contact. Foul was on Haley Klein. And Baum heads to the free throw line to try to complete the 3-point play, and she does. Jamie Baum averaging about 12 points a game so far this season and leading, well, one of the leaders on the team in assists. Whistle and a foul going to be called. That's going to be on Rowland. Rowland has not had the best of nights for her. She's normally a lot more involved in the offense, but has really struggled a little bit to get things going and picks up her 3rd foul.
Yeah, she hit the one 3-pointer early on, but outside of that, she had a couple of point-blank opportunities that I'm sure she feels like she should be able to make, and just the one offensive rebound tonight.
Madison Smith knocks home both of the free throws. She's got 5 points on the night, and it's a 9-point lead now for Rose-Hulman. Nice behind the back by Baum. Drop down to Diaz. Now Baum all the way in, lays it up and good.
Well,
no charge there. That was in the restricted area, and that was really aggressive play by Jamie Baum.
Yeah, took to the open lane there and cut decisively.
3-pointer blocked by Diaz, and Rowland able to pick it up, and a foul going to be called on Rosenkrantz. Defense really starting to pick up in intensity for Rose-Hulman.
Well, what was funny, Diaz was giving all sorts of room on that 3-point shot, and you can leave that kind of room if you can close out as quickly as she did. She did a great job on the closeout. I think she was as surprised as anybody that she got that blocked shot, though.
30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. Just a reminder, folks, this broadcast is sponsored in part by Passion of Care. Don't miss this chance to turn your compassionate efforts into a rewarding experience. Learn more about SFC and ATTC today and embark on a journey of care and compensation. Call us at 317-537-1811. Now, Rose-Hulman leading this game 43-32. Shooting has continued to improve over the course of this contest. Fighting Engineers shooting at a 46.3% clip, and that is significantly above their season average. They're only averaging about 38% shooting on the campaign, and that's got to be somewhat gratifying for head coach Devin Paul to watch the shots finally starting to go in.
Right, and especially because not only are the shots going in, but it's who's taking them and who's making them for the Rose-Hulman Fighting Engineers. They are just doing a much better job creating all of these shots from their offense. And, it's not kind of panic shots at the end of a shot clock. It's not a situation where they're taking shots too early. It's all within the flow of the offense. And when you see it work together, it's a beautiful thing.
So Rose-Hulman with a chance to build on the lead, already at heights that we didn't see in the first half. Be patient against this zone. There's a spot up three, in and out, no. That went on its way by Tori Scales, and the rebound finally pulled out by the Spartans.
That was a great look. Ideally, you want to get that for kind of identify who your shooters are, but that was a great look for Scales.
Back into the game is Jayanna Blakely, who provided a bit of a spark off the bench in the first half. Shot now taken up and off glass. Good. Madeline Vanderweel, the junior from Argos High School, knocks that one home.
A good set by Manchester as they were able to kind of come out of the timeout, and they got what they needed.
Nice feed to Diaz, but she can't get the layup to go. Everything but the finish.
She couldn't believe how open she was.
Three-pointer the other way by Klein. She knocks it home, and just like that, back to a 6-point margin.
That was a tough cover for Grace Rowland trying to come out to the corner and a little late getting out there.
So Klein with 13. There's Baum off the pass. Gets knocked down, no call, and the rebound pulled down by Vanderweel. Fed down to Rosenkrantz. Gets it to go, and a spurt here by Manchester, a 7-0 run. Back to a 4-point game.
They're getting themselves down the court before Rose-Hulman can really set themselves up on defense. They've done such a good job in the half court.
Dump down feed to Scales. Can't get the shot to go, but she'll go to the free throw line.
And that's an adjustment you like to see a team make, that they're struggling in the half court offense. Well, the best way to get out of that struggle is not play half court offense.
So only the second free throw attempt of the game for Rose-Hulman coming up here in just a second, as we'll see Scales stepping to the line. Scales able to knock that one home. Hasn't had a lot of attempts from the free throw line. In fact, only 2 coming into today. So she'll double that with that trip and knocks both of them down.
She looked quite comfortable and confident from the free throw line on those attempts.
So Black will come back in after a brief spell on the bench.
Big thing to look out for, that Fighting Engineers in the bonus here. Final 3 minutes of the quarter. 5 fouls for Manchester, only 1 foul for Rose-Hulman.
Blakely, cross-courted over to Klein. Open 3, bounces out, no, and Reese gets the rebound. 7 rebounds now for Sophia Reese.
Always like it when you see the guards being aggressive and going at the glass.
Foul going to be called. And they're going to nail Haley Klein on that one.
Well, I like Rose-Hulman's awareness there. They know they're in the bonus. You've got to be aggressive going towards the basket and kind of pick up a bit of a cheap foul, but I think they've earned it through some of the contact that they've been playing through earlier on in the game.
8 fouls total called now on the Spartans, but 5 of them have happened in this quarter. Diaz knocks both free throws home.
And that's the thing that gives coaches gray hair for sure, because you try to figure out what exactly is a foul. And especially in physical games, it inevitably gets called inconsistently because officials cannot let all contact go. But then you start playing, oh, well, why wasn't that a foul last time?
Working inside, here's Maddie Smith. Somehow slithers through there and gets that off glass. Back to a 6-point margin.
Not sure that's what I would have recommended, but a great finish.
And that ball bounces off of the hand of Ashley Black, and that'll be a turnover against Rose-Hulman. Turnovers had really subsided for both teams. That is only the 9th turnover on Rose-Hulman for this game.
Yeah, in the first half, they got themselves 33 field goal attempts, and I think that you get over 30 field goal attempts in a half, you're going to feel pretty good about your chances to win every night. Now that their shooting percentage has picked up, they're going to make enough. They just have to continue to get themselves more and more attempts.
Atkins able to dish that out to Smith, who missed the layup, and the rebound is pulled out of there by Diaz. Nice hustle there.
Yeah, good job going to the floor. Protected the ball and then was able to kick it out to Baum to get it away from a defender.
Sophia Reese off to Baum. Baum with a little change of direction and able to softly get that one to drop in. The English continues to be kind.
Absolutely, and that's such a big skill for a player to be able to kind of bully your way down the court and into the lane, but then go up softly and have a soft touch around the rim.
Blakely. Gonna reset the offense for the Spartans, down 8. I'm sure they'd like to cut into this margin a little bit heading into the fourth quarter. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Blakely drives, layup, good. Jayanna Blakely, the sophomore out of Westville, played her high school ball at Marquette Catholic, and she's been a pretty effective performer so far for the Spartans tonight.
I was going to say, in the first half, she had a really good run, but I was surprised hadn't seen more of her here in the second half.
Bomb off to Reese. Now into Shamba, who's been pretty quiet lately and can't get that shot to fall.
That was a fantastic look again from Reese, and I think it took Shamba by surprise.
So 10 seconds remaining on the clock, and Blakely going to try her luck again. Passes it out. Vanderweel missed everything. And that'll be out of bounds for Rose-Hulman. A little bit of time to do something here.
Yeah, 3 seconds. At least get the ball into Sophia Reese's hands and have her going north and south.
Some pressure being applied. Here's Reese, and the clock never started.
Well, it got down to 2.5. It must have not started fast enough.
It did not start
for the
fast
officials.
enough. It was a solid second or so that went off the clock there, or that should have gone off the clock and didn't. So I believe this is going to be a side out, and they're going to take another half second off the clock. So 2 seconds remaining, but a more advantageous spot for Rose-Hulman. They'll pass it into Black. Three-pointer in the air, and she gets it to go. Ashley Black draining the three, 19 points, and it pushes the lead back to 9 for the Fighting Engineers.
Well, you like getting that end of quarter play, and not even having to come off of a timeout, just perfectly run. Ashley Black gets it, going forward. She pulls up, she got to the spot, she knew exactly how long she had, and got it in the air.
Bench was fired up. We'll take a break, come back with the fourth quarter of play here on RHIT.TV.
We're doing things so quickly. A lot of times we know that we need help. So our professors all know us by name.
Basically, everybody knows everybody here.
That one-on-one personal connection you're getting with the faculty, you don't get that a lot of places.
We're not just saying, here, go do this hard project. We are right there with them. We work with them.
The faculty are there for you.
Welcome back to Hulbert Arena in Terre Haute, Indiana, the campus of the Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. Rose-Hulman leading 52-43 over the Manchester Spartans. Folks, if you missed any of the action earlier on today, you can catch the replay on our YouTube page. You can see here the replay of that Ashley Black three-pointer. It's a really nice forward momentum on that shot. She knew exactly what spot she wanted to get to.
Absolutely. And again, it's knowing the time and the place. You've got 2 seconds. Okay, I've got to get to this spot by the 1 second mark. Go up easy, and nice, smooth three-point shot.
Ashley Black so far 8 for 11 and 3 for 4 from 3 in this game. As we mentioned, 19 points, easily leading all scorers in this contest. Well, it's not over yet, as Manchester has shown an ability to score points in bunches when needed, but there's a steal by Rowland and a nice defensive start for Rose-Hulman.
Good defense by Rowland. Getting back into position, she kept her head up and just watched where the ball was coming in.
Rowland knocks down the shot. 5th point for Grace Rowland. It's been a tough night from the field. That's only her second made basket.
But Sophia Reese there, that's her 5th assist. She has been an absolute dynamo at the point guard spot.
Manchester down by 11 once again. They had closed the lead all the way down to 4 at one point, and now pushed all the way back out. Going to be harder to come back with less time remaining. Foul going to be called on Black as she ran right into Madison Smith.
I think she realized that foul call came after the player fell down. It was not the contact that led to the foul call, and she looked and kind of guiltily smiled to her teammate.
Quick three off that inbound, no, and Rose-Hulman comes out of there with the basketball.
And again, Sophia Reese coming away with it.
Black probing, now tosses to Rowland. Nice spin move in the post, and Grace Rowland getting on track here, 7 points now.
Yeah, she has all the post moves that you need. She can take advantage of one-on-one matchups.
Ball thrown out of bounds by Madison Smith, and that will be, looks like a timeout coming. So media timeout coming. We'll take one ourselves. 56-43. Rose-Hulman leads. Back in a minute on RHIT.TV.
So my goal is to get involved in space industry and learn about what lies beyond the Earth's horizon. I came across Rose Rocketry. I saw, hey, they're doing some really cool stuff. They're building rockets. I really grew a lot being as part of the team. Last year, through Rose Rocketry, I was able to attend SED Space Vision 2022, which was a student conference for people who want to get involved in space. And I was able to go to Washington, D.C. and talk to so many people within the space industry who come together and say, this is what the next goals for space are. Being at Rose, I was able to hone my engineering skills to push myself to get involved in the field further and learn about all these different opportunities. And I don't think I would have really gotten that at a bigger university.
Welcome back to Holbert Arena. Galen Clavio, Mike Petrie joining you. 8:33 remaining in this contest. Rose-Hulman with a somewhat comfortable 13-point lead. We've seen them struggle a little bit to maintain it at that mark, but they're starting to get scoring from a bunch of different people now.
Right, and what we saw the last couple of times down the court, they really like to work inside out, and they get the ball to Grace Rowland, and it's because of the outside shooting, though. She's got a lot of room to operate down low. They're having to respect all of these outside shooters from the Fighting Engineers, and that has just carved up a lot of room for Rowland.
Black, who's had the hot hand for most of this game, cross courts to Baum. Tricky pass into Rowland, couldn't get the shot to go, gets her own rebound, puts it up, no. Rebound again, falls to the floor, jump ball, that'll remain with Rose-Hulman.
Good effort from Rowland there. She got the ball in a bit of a tricky position. That was a tough pass by Baum. But you do like to see the unselfishness. You get into the lane. A lot of times players get kind of laser focused. They get into the lane and then they're automatically looking to shoot.
Trigger on the baseline out of bounds, and a foul going to be called. Nice play as they run Diaz across the court and really seem to take Manchester by surprise.
Yeah, probably the second or third option there, but because the other options had cleared out, you're able to throw a pass across the lane. No Manchester defenders in the way.
Free throw attempt off the mark. And that one rattles out as well. So Diaz unable to get those to fall. Been a quiet night scoring for Diaz, but she's been active in other areas. Shot no by Rosencrantz and pulled out by Sophia Reese. And an offensive foul is going to be called. I need to see a replay on that one, Mike.
Yeah, that was...
There were certainly some elbows flying, but I'm not entirely certain that they connected with anything.
No, I think that was perhaps a... Oh, yeah, she threw an elbow to kind of clear out space, but did not hit anything on the Manchester defender.
Perhaps the foul was on the oxygen.
That's right.
Baseline drive kicked off, and Maddie Smith able to lay that one in. Smith with 9 and gets rewarded for all of the work she's done on the boards tonight. 10 rebounds, leads everybody. Baum off to Rowland, feeds it down low to Black. Pass wasn't perfect, but Black able to pick it up, and she'll get the foul call and go to the free throw line.
Well, Rose-Hulman, after not going to the free throw line for about 2.5 quarters, they're making up for it in spades here the last quarter and a, well, the last 4 minutes of the third quarter and now just a minute into the fourth.
Black with a chance to hit the 20-point barrier if she can knock this one home. And she does. Her first free throw attempt of the night. And now Black will put a second attempt up, also good. So back out to a 13-point margin. 7:20 remaining in this contest. Drive by Rosencrantz, has a bit of a lane and can't get it to bounce home, but gets the board And a jump ball going to be called. It'll remain Manchester's ball.
Yeah, good defense there. After allowing that second chance opportunity, they stayed with it and knocked the ball away from her. She goes up into the air and essentially catches her own missed shot.
Now Smith has it knocked away. Another jump ball, and that's going to head the direction of the Fighting Engineers.
Great job by Black staying with that, too, because she jabbed at the ball, didn't really get it, but made it enough of a tough catch for Manchester, and because of that, she stayed with it and went to the floor, got the extra jump ball.
Now Jamie Baum running the offense off to Randolph. Down to Shamba. Little drop step, layup, good. Shamba with 10 points on the night. And a 15-point lead, the largest of the evening for the Fighting Engineers.
And again, you get the ball down low. These two post players know what to do to finish.
And a foul going to be called on Shamba. They say she was using the forearm a little too aggressively.
Shamba was the entire offense for Rose-Hulman early on. Again, good to see so many different options for this Fighting Engineer team.
Black comes off the floor. Replaced in the lineup by Diaz. So Diaz, Baum, Reese, Randolph, and Shamba for Rose-Hulman. Drive, layup, bounces off the back of the rim. No, Maya Shields unable to get that one to fall. And here's Reese quickly the other direction, lays it up and in. Sophia Reese with 7.
She has been all over the stat sheet.
And a timeout going to be called by Manchester. This will be a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. So 17-point lead now for the Fighting Engineers. And actually, they're going to say this is a full timeout, so we'll go ahead and take one ourselves. Back after this here on RHIT.TV.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity, and that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your student to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
Welcome back to Hulbert Arena. Rose-Hulman cruising 62-45. They've really opened things up here in this fourth quarter. 4 for 7 from the field, 2 for 4 from the free throw line, and probably most important, Manchester being held to 16% shooting. They haven't been to the free throw line. It's been pretty much defensive domination by this Rose-Hulman team.
Yeah, defensive intensity has been fantastic. It really started coming out of halftime, and that allowed Rose-Hulman to get out in front, kind of got a comfortable lead. Manchester made one run, kind of 7 points in 3 possessions, back to back to back. Some transition baskets in there, or at least semi-transitional. And with that, after that, Rose-Hulman picked up the intensity again, and it has been locked down from that point on.
Manchester needing points at this stage. Only shooting 35% from the field, and they've gone cold from deep after some early threes, only 4 for 16 on the game. Travel going to be called on Rosencrantz. That's not going to yield any points for them. 16th turnover for Manchester in this game.
And that's just good solid defense that wasn't, forcing anything from Manchester, but you eventually got the ball into the hands of a player that's not really comfortable having it out in the perimeter.
Shamba off to Baum. Rose-Hulman in no huge hurry. Reese wide open for 3. That one's short. Almost got her own rebound, but it ends up bouncing off of her hands, and it'll be Manchester basketball.
That's about the only thing she hasn't been able to do tonight. The 3-point shots, she's had 3 right on target, but just she's been short on all 3 of them.
Ryder been relatively quiet tonight. The handoff. Klein had that one knocked out of bounds, so it'll remain Manchester basketball.
And at this point, from Rose-Hulman's point of view, you're just taking easy options away. If they make tough shots, you tip your cap and you move on, but you've just got to take away the easy options.
Layup, no, as Rosencrans has really struggled from the field here recently. She got off to a hot start, has 10 points, but only 5 for 13 now. Reese almost turned that over, almost threw it out of bounds there, and now a timeout going to be called by Rose-Hulman as they were trapped on the sideline. 4:50 remaining. We'll keep it here for this timeout.
Nice job getting that timeout, though, to save the possession.
Coming up for Rose-Hulman, they've got an interesting set of games back here on Saturday at 1 o'clock as they take on Bluffton. That's going to be a women's basketball, men's basketball doubleheader, and we'll have that action for you right here on RHIT.TV. Myself, Tony Donahue, going to be on that call, so be sure to tune in for that. Then they'll travel to Manchester on Wednesday of next week to take on this same Manchester squad. North Manchester, the official town, as we know.
Absolutely, and it is North Manchester.
Yes, it is, absolutely. And then next Saturday, Rose-Hulman traveling to Lexington to take on Transylvania.
So Ashley Black, just something to keep an eye on as she checks back into the game. She is nearing her season-high 22 points. She's at 20 right now.
Here's Baum, triple teamed, and a jump ball going to be called. And so that will revert to Manchester here on a side out, and another turnover on Rose-Hulman.
And they don't list highs for individual rebounds, but I'm guessing this is the career high and season high for Sophia Reese in terms of rebounds. She's at 8. When you're getting rebounding from your guards, it's just so beneficial to the team as a whole. 12 between her and Amelia Diaz.
Long three off the mark, picked up by Rosencrans on the rebound, however, and another rebound off of a missed shot, and a foul going to be whistled, and it'll be Manchester basketball underneath as it's like they got Sophia Reese on that call. Nobody in foul trouble really for Rose-Hulman. You've got Randolph and Rowland with 3 apiece, and Rosencrans with 4 for Manchester. Nice feed from Klein, but the shot attempt was not what Shaylee Evans probably wanted as that bounces high and off. Now here's Klein, tries to kick it off. Shot up and good. Hesitant to take that shot from the elbow there, but a nice shot made by Kendall Ryder.
Yeah, that was her last option. She tried to pass it to 2 different players and just ran out of real estate.
Shamba, it's knocked down, no call on that layup attempt, and Manchester the other way. Rosencrans had it knocked away by Reese. Now Klein, Rosencrans for 3, gets it to go. 62-50. Now Black. Some real swarming pressure defense being applied right now by Manchester. They're trying to double everywhere and just try to force a turnover at this point.
Yeah, a little bit of desperation just setting in.
There's Black dribbling in. Nice feed off to Shamba. No, but a foul.
Good look from Ashley Black and created a good opportunity for Shamba now. She will go to the free throw line.
Manuela Shamba with 10 points already on the evening, 5 for 12 from the field, 5 rebounds tonight as well. She's had a pretty good all-around game.
It felt like outside of Black, individual players have each had their run. Shamba was early. Grace Rowland had a run here in the fourth quarter, and you've seen Reese and Diaz kind of had a run of the offense running through them. So everybody's kind of gotten a chance. Jamie Baum created her own, called her own number, looked like about 2 or 3 possessions in a row, and was able to score on a couple of those.
So 1 of 2 free throws good, and back to a 13-point lead for Rose-Hulman. Rosencrantz going to square up from 3, rattles out, and Rowland gets the board. Baum trapped in the backcourt, manages to squeeze out of it, and now Black tight ropes the sideline all the way underneath. Will kick it to Rowland, easy layup.
We talked a couple of times, the post player being surprised that the pass found them. I think Ashley Black got to the baseline and was surprised that Rowland was exactly where she was and in perfect position.
3 by Ryder, off the mark. The three-point shooting has just not been there for Manchester as Randolph digs that one out of the corner.
No, 5 of 18 so far, and a lot of that, again, has to do with the Rose-Hulman defense. They have contested shots effectively, and a lot of it is just you're cycling to players that you feel comfortable taking the three-point shot.
Maddie Smith back into the contest. Engineers leading by 15. Baum all the way in, lays it up and gets it to go.
Great shot. Great job getting that completely off balance. When you're able to make that, despite having all the momentum stopped.
And a foul going to be called.
That was a heavy
yes. Well,
thump. It looked probably worse than it ended up being.
It sounded bad. Baum ran into the Manchester player, although she seemed to think that she had just gotten tangled up with her. It's hard to tell. And another one of those where, to some degree, you'll get a whistle because of what the contact looks like after the fact.
Absolutely.
Blakely back into the game for Manchester. Atkins back into the game as well. And heading to the free throw line. Manchester trying to cut into this lead. Ryder unable to knock that first one down.
Well, these 5-point seesaws are a lot easier to take when you go from 17 points to 12 points and back. But credit to Rose-Hulman. There was a little mini run by Manchester, and they were able to answer there.
Some full court pressure being applied. Broken by Rose-Hulman. Rowland gets in position, lays it up and in.
Well, that was a textbook press break if there ever was one.
Nice job of positioning by Maria Godoy-Rodriguez, who just came into the game. Shot in the corner, no, and picked up by Rowland, who's quickly getting the stats back up to where they normally are here in this closing frame.
Yeah, she's doing a great job at closing this game out.
Reese to Rowland, lays it up. Oh, couldn't get that one to fall. And a foul going to be called on Rowland. 69-51. Rose-Hulman leading by 18.
This is a good stretch for her, though, because I think you're seeing she's probably, especially early on in the year, she was playing kind of short shifts. And this is as long of a run as I've seen her on the floor at one time. Foul trouble has played a part in that too. But you get a long run like that, and it can be very beneficial.
Rowland heads to the bench. She has 4 fouls, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 of 13 from the field. She's replaced by Columbia Rodriguez, who makes her first appearance in the game. You also had Tori Scales come into the contest. And we're about to see Neha Vinesh enter as well, as the bench is starting to empty a little bit for both of these teams.
Good to get some additional run for some players that definitely put in the effort on the back end.
Ball knocked out of bounds by Kinsey Atkins. Nice play by the freshman, but it'll remain Rose-Hulman basketball, and triggering this in will be Scales. And gets it into Godoy Rodriguez. To Columba Rodriguez. I misspoke earlier. And she'll drive, gets the layup and goes.
That was a good straight line drive. She was not going to be denied.
Rodriguez only her 3rd made field goal of the season. Three-pointer off the mark, and Sophia Reese will pull that in, getting pressured. And a jump ball going to be called, but it'll remain Fighting Engineers basketball.
And again, Sophia Reese in amongst the trees. Despite giving up a lot of size, able to fight for another board.
Ball almost slipped through the hands of Godoy Rodriguez. She'll get it to Rodriguez. And Rodriguez got a Euro step through there. Columba Rodriguez making a bid for more playing time. She scores 2 consecutive baskets.
That was a great drive. Yeah, the Euro step and the takeaway on the ball. Now you see it, now you don't.
Reese tried to outlet that pass, no, and then a foul down low as Reese was battling for rebounding position. I think they're going to get Reese on the foul, and the three was good. So those rare foul away from the basket, but the basket count plays. We don't see those that often.
No, a chance at a 5-point play, and that was one you just saw bodies flying and sliding across the court.
Reese sits down. Randolph back into the contest.
I think they take Sophia Reese out for her own protection at this point.
Free throw good. That three-pointer was by Rosenkrantz. She's got 16 points now. That leads Manchester in scoring. Free throw missed. Rosenkrantz gets the board. Can't get the shot to fall. Back up again, but a foul going to be called on that.
Rosenkrantz has had a great night statistically. A lot of this has come in the second half, but she's proven to be, she can be that outside threat that Manchester is going to need.
Only one player on this Manchester roster averages in double figures. That's Haley Klein. But Rosenkrantz is second on the team, averaging about 8.5 points per game. And she's shown an ability to hit regularly from distance, averaging about 33% from long range.
Yeah, but that's one of 3 on the season. So I think they're going to start incorporating that more into the offense.
Feed down to Vinesh, and can't get the shot to fall. Dug out by Columba Rodriguez. 1 second left, and that will do it. Rose-Hulman, 73-57. They knock off Manchester. Only their second home win of the year, Mike. And after a little bit of a shaky start, this was a pretty complete victory for the Fighting Engineers.
Yeah, I think really nothing to be too disappointed with. They get the defensive intensity that they were looking for. Again, and as much as anything, it's about simplifying things for this Rose-Hulman team. They've got it where they're just making the easy passes, and they're not making themselves make tough passes. And finding open players. The offense was running efficiently today, and I think kind of overall exactly what you're hoping for.
Looking at some of the statistics from this game, Rose-Hulman with one of their best shooting performances of the season, 47.6% from the field, 30-63 overall. They were 5 for 16 from the three-point line, about 31%. That dropped off a little bit as the game went along from what was really a blazing hot start in that second quarter. 8 for 11 from the free throw line. They end up almost even in terms of total rebounds, 37 for Rose-Hulman, 38 for Manchester. But Rose-Hulman led 28.5 minutes of this game. It was really their game pretty much the whole way through.
Yeah, once they kind of overcame the slow start, they were able to. It was six-point deficit early on. Once they overcame that, they were able to get out in front, and then it was a matter of running away from the Manchester Spartans.
Looking at some of the various leaders in terms of scoring, as we mentioned earlier, it was Ashley Black with 21 points on the night, 8 for 12 from the field, 3 for 4 from the three-point line. And then a bunch of players in double figures. Grace Rowland with 11, Manuela Shamba with 11, Jamie Baum with 11, and of course Sophia Reese, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, was all over the place, also had a block. We are joined by head coach Devin Paul. Coach, congratulations. Quite a win for your team tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, they came out and they fought. We've been talking about just hitting the things that we're supposed to do. We talk about turnovers every game. We're supposed to have underneath 15. We had 12 today. 13 assists lets me know we're moving the basketball. I just can't say enough good stuff about this team. I'm so proud of our effort, our attitude, and just keep fighting all the way to the end. And Manchester's a good team. That's a good team. That's a tough team to beat at home. So I feel like, this will give us some momentum going into Saturday.
Coach, when you look at the way that this game played out, a little bit of a rocky start for both teams. They were trying to find, the range from the field. But that second quarter, especially at the end, you get those shots from Ashley Black, and it really seemed to just galvanize your team for the second half.
Yeah, Ashley played an amazing game. I mean, when you look at the stat sheet, she had 21, but I think the biggest thing with her is her leadership. She just brings that grit, that grind to the team. I had a conversation with her, and we talked about how she's been playing well, but the turnovers. And she said, Coach, don't worry, I got you. And she actually did what she said she was going to do tonight. So I'm happy about that.
Really good balanced scoring from a bunch of players on this team, 4 players in double figures. That's got to make you feel good that you get contributions all throughout the course of the game from different players.
Yeah, and I mean, we're such a young team. When you look at it, we have so many freshmen that play quality minutes for us. Even Jamie, she's a junior. She plays quality minutes for us. But at the same time, we're a team, and that's what we talked about before the game. It doesn't really matter what 5 are on the floor. As long as they do their job, we're going to be okay.
Defense in the fourth quarter was really impressive, holding Manchester to 22% shooting and just really kind of clamped down right when you needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like we made a push when we needed it, but we always know our offense stems from our defense. So when we're playing pretty good on the defensive end, we usually pick up the slack on the offensive end. And we missed a couple easy baskets, but I told him, listen, those shots are going to fall, but we got to worry about getting stops on defense. So one of our main things is stop and score. Let's get a stop and then let's get a score.
5-4 in conference and heading right into the teeth of the schedule. Big game this weekend against Bluffton, but you got to feel pretty good at the way your team is coming together, being so young, as you mentioned earlier, and just kind of getting the kinks knocked out of things.
No, I'm very proud. I mean, I couldn't be happier with this team and our staff. I mean, I have an amazing coaching staff with Coach Mack and then my wife, Coach Gabrielle Gibson. It's just amazing the things that we've been able to do together. So I'm just happy about our growth. We just got to keep on getting better.
Well, Coach, congrats again. Great win for you and your squad tonight, and we'll look forward to talking with you again hopefully over the weekend.
No, I appreciate that. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And thanks to all of you folks for joining us as well here on the broadcast. Again, the final score, Rose-Hulman defeats Manchester 73-57. I'd like to thank our entire crew. And, Mike, any final thoughts from you as we get ready to wrap up?
Well, I think as you were talking about, this is it's the mix of youth and experience. I think it's starting to come together, and you're liking the mixture that you're seeing, and the multiple ways that they're able to attack defenses. It bodes good things for the rest of this season and beyond.
A lot of basketball left to be played, and certainly Rose-Hulman in the thick of things in terms of the HCAC women's basketball title. A lot of games left to be played, and they're all conference games from this point moving forward. But Rose-Hulman back into a tie for 4th with Franklin with the win tonight, and they'll take on Bluffton, who's 3-6 in conference, coming up this weekend. Be sure to tune in at that point, 1 o'clock. We'll have those two teams playing right here on RHIT.TV. Looking forward to bringing you that. Our thanks to our producer, Ben Wood, our entire crew here and back in Indianapolis. And, Mike, as always, a pleasure broadcasting with you. For all of those folks, I'm Galen Clavio saying thanks for joining us here on RHIT.TV. We'll catch you folks on the flip side. So long, everybody.